listen to me. Listen to me. Have you guys seen this friggin' movie? My name's John. I talk about movies and things. Before we get started, I know something about you. I know you're not subscribed. That's okay. You don't know me yet. We're both nervous. You look great, by the way. From the creators of Talk to Me comes another movie title with 3 one-syllable words. Bring Her Back. I just got back from seeing Bring Her Back, and my god, I don't know what they're doing over in Australia, but these guys keep making banger after banger. In Bring Her Back, you'll get that same inventive, character-first horror that you remember from Talk to Me. This movie follows a young blind girl, Piper, and her older brother, Andy, who, after an unfortunate event, end up in a foster home under the care of this woman, Laura. And it seems like Laura and Andy aren't really getting along. She seems really overbearing with Piper and really excited to have Piper in the home, but not so much Andy. Andy's kind of a troublemaker. He's kind of an angry kid with a bit of a past. But there's also this other foster kid who's mute and is creepily eating bugs and doing all kinds of vague horror movie kid stuff that you would kind of expect. And that's all I kind of want to say about the plot. If you haven't seen the trailer, I really wouldn't recommend it. I went to this movie 100% blind. No, that's not, I didn't. I went into this movie having not seen any trailers, not even knowing the premise. And this movie, and same with Talk to Me, has genuine twists and turns that a movie like this typically wouldn't have. I don't know how else to put it other than it feels like these filmmakers have balls. You know, they're just willing to go the extra mile and they know how to make your skin crawl. Remember that scene from Evil Dead Rise where that girl is eating glass and you see like the broken shards of glass poking out of her windpipe? Yeah, there's like 5 of those in here. Now this movie isn't wall to wall with horror stuff. The first, I want to say maybe 45 minutes of this movie really get you to care about these characters. And so when the horror stuff kicks off, you have more of an investment to what's going on. And the movie really follows these 3-4 characters throughout, and they're growing tensions with each other and uncovering different secrets about each other, bonding a little bit only to stab each other in the back. It's really tense stuff and really effective, even outside of the horror element. But when the horror comes in, it comes in hot. These guys know how to make your skin crawl, and there are some sequences in here where I was like struggling to look at the screen in a good way. I want to shout out the actors real quick because everybody does such a great job in this movie. Sally Hawkins, who plays Laura, particularly knows how to add in this creepy, unsettling vibe in such a perfect way that gives you just a little hint as to what she might be thinking, but covers it well. Billy Barrett plays Andy, and immediately you like this kid. You know, you're on his side. He does a good job of playing the kind of angry teen chip on his shoulder without it feeling like an archetype. The relationship between Andy and Piper is so essential to getting this movie to work and getting the audience on the side of Andy during all this. But I think the standout here is also Sora Wong, who plays Piper. It seems like she is actually visually impaired in real life, which makes her performance, on top of being a kid actor, even that more impressive. It's really amazing what she's able to accomplish here, getting you to care about Piper as a character. You know, they have a pretty specific family dynamic they get into that plays into Andy's relationship with his dad, Piper's relationship with her parents, and the way they dish out that information over the course of the movie is at the perfect time. You know, we don't get all the information about them right up front. It's kind of played out as this reveal that, oh, this character that we're following maybe has some dark secrets of his own, you know, and all that kind of adds to why these characters might not be on his side like these social worker type people, because he is kind of a troubled kid. And it's being that specific with the character that allows them to get away with some of these tropes that you see in horror, you know, like the character running around, having nobody believe them. People think that they're crazy or that they're lying so that they can't get help and they have to deal with the problems on their own. I know it's a trope, but this movie really captured that frustration of nobody believing you just because you're a kid or just because of your background. It really got me on Andy's side that nobody was helping him out just because of his past or just because of how they see him. I also really like that Piper got a life outside of just being kind of this character that Andy needs to protect. You know, she's an active character despite her disability. She goes off and has a life. One thing that really stood out to me about this movie is that they approach each scene with the opportunity of doing something interesting. You know, there's no scene that's in here just to be in here and kind of get the plot rolling, whatever. Even if it is just kind of an exposition type scene, they find a way to make it specific to these characters. One thing that stands out to me is early on in the movie, there's a scene that's just kind of establishing Andy and Piper's new status quo, you know, why they need to go into this foster home, and they choose to have the scene take place under a bed in a bedroom. You know, the characters could just as easily be in the kitchen eating cereal, whatever, but because it is under the bed, that tells us a little bit more about Piper through that scene blocking. You know, where she's at after all this, and Andy approaching her under the bed tells us everything we need to know about his character and his relationship with her in that scene. And it's great. The movie's filled with little details like that that really all add up, and the fact that they're willing to go the extra mile and kind of put extra thought into these scenes that would typically just be there to get the plot moving forward, to get to the next scare, is really what makes these filmmakers stand apart. Everyone in this does such an incredible job. I also want to shout out Jonah Wren Phillips, who plays the other kid, Ollie. This kid has got to do some really creepy, messed up things in this, and just prop to the actor for going through all that. My God, man. Similar to Talk to Me, it's got some of the more tropey elements of horror. It's not 100% campy. It's definitely not funny in any way. It's just strikes the right tone of kind of almost coming of age and horror that really resonated with me. I think that's a great blend of genres in order to get you to genuinely care about these characters, so that when the horror stuff kicks off, you're all the more tense. So I think what these Australian guys are doing with their movies has been really, really smart so far, really inventive. You can tell that they're using all of the resources they have at their disposal in order to put something like this out there. I just think it's really cool. I want to shout out this movie really quick. I was excited. It gets somebody like me inspired to see that guys that just have their start on YouTube can go out there and make their own movies like this. I mean, yeah, you could say this movie is filled with horror tropes, but similar to Talk to Me, it's able to twist those tropes on their head a little bit and just able to tell something that feels like it's got something to say while also being kind of a fun, exciting thrill ride. I can see the comparison with a filmmaker like Jordan Peele, who kind of puts these bigger themes into his movies while also underlying it with horror. But I don't know, with these filmmakers, it seems like more of a genuine attempt to express these emotions, and it feels a little bit more raw and personal than a filmmaker like Jordan Peele, who's trying to actively convey a message. I think it also helps that these two aren't going around saying that they're redefining horror and changing everything. We're filmmaking geniuses, kind of like Jordan Peele. These movies aren't about sending a message. These movies are about scaring the shit out of you, doing creepy stuff, weird, gross set pieces. I love it. I hope they keep it up, and I'm excited to see what they do next. I'd also be excited to see them branch out from the world of horror, see what they can do in a different type of genre. So hopefully one of these big studios gives them a shot. There's obviously some crazy talent here. And yeah, Danny and Michael Phillippou, keep crushing it. Excited to see what they do next. So if you haven't seen this movie or you're thinking about it, I would highly recommend it. If you're a fan of Talk to Me, highly recommend it. It's pretty much the same thing with a different twist, a completely different plot, but that same kind of vibe and energy. Good characters, weird, freaky horror. What else do you need?